Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Teresa Phillips. Mrs. Teresa, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing very well, Timothy. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. And also, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity. Firstly, you are a voice actor. You are also an advocate for personal growth. Can you please, Mrs. Teresa, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mrs. Teresa?
Certainly. I have been involved in self help for a while. I lost my way when my father died because I was his caregiver. And then I had started taking voiceover training about a year after he died, and it just snowballed from there. Currently, I have a podcast called Phoenix Rising: Wisdom of the Heart that just debuted a month ago. I will be doing more tapings in the future. Uh, this journey has been very interesting. 2 years ago, I didn't think that I could do what I'm doing today, and I do use my voice. I'm also a musician and singer. So I try to use everything that I know possible because my life has been kind of hellish. So if I can help somebody else with what I've been through, my life is well worth it.
Also, that is one of the beauty of the obstacles we have at times in life. When we have struggles, when we have obstacles, it is a burden for us to be in a position to see others with more empathy, more caution, and also live a world of humility. And that is also the experience you've had regarding the ups and downs you've had from your parents and other things, and also being a voice actor and also gathering a lot of things just to actually bring out the profound of humanity around our world today. And that is why I would like to just drive. I do know you are into the voice aspect, but despite that, have you written any book or do you probably plan to write any books in the coming future, Mrs. Teresa?
I'm thinking about it very seriously. I'm thinking about it. Probably, I'm going to look back on all the information that I have from my own life. I am definitely planning on writing one. I just don't know when I'm going to get started. I'm clearing January and February where I can just sit and write. Because if I can help somebody else again, then my life's well worth it.
Exactly. Exactly. There is nothing more special than human. When we can do something for human, it is more valuable than anything, any material thing on earth. And that is why I would like to drive to the point of pain because many listeners have faced painful moments. I have faced painful moments. You, as a person who are having conversation today, have faced painful moments. Several people have faced painful moments that are really, really uneasy, which really left them really stuck. How do you think they can try their best to begin to see adversity as a sign of teacher rather than punishment along the way, Mrs. Teresa?
Okay, one of the things that I've had to learn how to do is when I'm in pain, I need to physically take a step back, take deep breaths, and go. And my first question to myself is, all right, what can I learn from this? I know this is uncomfortable. What can I learn from this? What is this trying to teach me? And it takes time and patience to get to that mindset. Sometimes when you're in agony, regardless of what it is, it's hard to think straight. And the only way you can calm yourself down is just step back, take a deep breath, and just say, okay, once I'm calmer, then what can I do? And if you have a support system in place, reach out to them. A lot of people don't. But if you have some sort of a support system, reach out to them. A friend, family member, trusted professional. I've had to do that. And there's no shame in doing that.
Very, very beautiful. And that shows the beauty. Sometimes we should just try our best to be in the position to give ourselves some certain questions that will help us along the way. But we should also try our best to give ourselves the right questions. You understand? And what you said earlier, what do I learn from this? How can I use this to improve my life? Those things are a source of growth. We can use this pain, we can use this setback as a source for us to say, okay, I learned from this. okay, I need to develop this. Okay, I won't try my best to do this anymore. Then that will be a source of growth for us. And a lot of people are in a position, even I myself, I'm guilty of this when it was a time in my during my younger time as well. They ask themselves when they face a lot of pains in life, when they face struggles upon struggles upon struggles, when they face things that are really, really tough for them to actually handle most of the time, they start to ask questions and say, why is it me? Why am I the one that is facing all these ups and downs? Why
Mhm.
am I the one that should face
I
these
do the
things
same
in
thing.
these very, very certain situations? We normally forget that we are not even only the one despite how tough it is, are facing the situation. So when life feels overwhelming, how do you think listeners can try their best to shift from why me to what can this teach me, as you said earlier, Mrs. Teresa?
Okay. One of the things that I find helpful for me is I do meditation, I do deep breathing techniques. It's hard sometimes when you're in the pain, when you've had thing after thing after thing, you've had hit after hit after hit. It's hard to get into that calm space of mind. That's the first thing you need to do would be okay, I know I hurt. I know this is unfair. What am I supposed to learn from this? And that's a very hard point to get to. Even now, I still struggle with that at times. Uh, it's also, it's so easy to slip into the why me instead of what is this teaching me? It's a mindset development, basically. You know, you've got to calm yourself down, breathe, let yourself think, let yourself feel, and then ask, all right, what am I supposed to be learning from this? And and inside you may realize that it's not, it's just you're not being dumped on. It's just for whatever reason these circumstances are coming up. And it can be very difficult when you're in that position to try to calm yourself down. I mean, if you could walk away from the situation, take a few breaths, that would be fine. I realize that you can't do that all the time, but mainly taking a deep breath, calming yourself, and then once the panic and the pain slows down a little bit, it's easier to say, okay, this is happening. How do I learn from it? How do I heal from it? And again, that's very difficult to do when you are in that type of pain. I've been there, I've done it, and it's taking a long time for me to be able to do it. And do I do this all the time? No. I'm still very much human. I will still slip back into old behaviors at times. But we're all human beings. And one thing I want to mention to your listeners is be patient and be loving towards yourself. Do not beat yourself up regardless of what you're going through, because that just adds more pain, more sorrow, more suffering. Give yourself grace. Understand that you're a lovable child of the universe. Yes, these things are happening, but that does not change your worth. That does not change your worth. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? That's the only advice I can honestly give.
As you said, it is always tough. It is always uneasy for us at times when things are really, really tough for us. But we should not be in a position to actually give ourselves a question that will make things more worse for us. We should be in a position to actually use it as a source of growth, as a source of a sense of inspiration. Because when we continue to give ourselves these questions that are not helping us, it continues to damage our soul, also damage our health as well. And it is not easy, as you've said, to actually be in the position to use our obstacles and continue to use it as a channel for us to become more better in the life we find ourselves. And that is why we are having these beautiful conversations today, so that people will understand how they can also be in the position to actually help themselves when things are really, really hard for us. Because despite the world we find ourselves today, so far we are in this world, we will always face some time that are really, really uneasy. And I would like to drive to areas where resilience can take people in different stage. Because despite how we are, we have to try our best to build the inner strength. When our inner self is strong enough, we can actually adapt and actually deal with certain situations despite how tough it is. So resilience can look different for everyone as well. So what do you think from the experience you've had are some of the practical ways listeners can build this inner strength when life keeps testing them with serious struggles, Mrs. Teresa?
Right. One of the things that I've done in my own life,
Yes.
it takes time and patience to build resilience. Sometimes our first thought is, here we go again. It's the same thing over and over. What you have to stop and ask yourself for is, okay, again, what can you learn from this? But also change your viewpoint just a little bit to the point of, all right, this is happening. What viewpoint, what change do I need to make in order to build the resiliency? Because in my own experience, when you've had hit after hit after hit, it's hard to even put yourself in that frame of mind. But you always have to ask the right questions. If you ask the questions, as you've said before, why me? What did I do to deserve this? All that does is just hurt you further and further and just piles that pain on you so much that you get to where you can't. It's like, okay, I'm in this situation. Stop, take a deep breath. What am I supposed to be taught here? What lesson or what part of my character needs to be built? And the answer's not always going to come right at first. It takes time and giving yourself, I found grace, giving yourself self love, understanding that, yeah, you change who you are as a human being. That does not change at all. What changes is there's something that needs to change inside. We go through adversity to build resilience and strength. But a lot of times for sensitive people, and I used to be extremely sensitive, that can feel like a soul crushing defeat. And it took me time and years to learn, okay, this is happening again. Okay, what am I supposed to be learning? How can I change my mind frame to build resilience instead of wallow in pain? That's the only way I know to put it. And again, that takes time and patience with yourself and understanding that you're still lovable. You're still a child of the universe. You still matter. And a lot of people don't understand that giving yourself self love, talking to yourself in the most positive ways, that also builds your inner strength. Instead of beating yourself up, give yourself a compliment. If you're going through a hard time, say, okay, I know I'm going through this. I'm still loved. I'm still cared for. I'm still protected. There's something in this somewhere that is going to teach me something to build me.
And that is true. Life will always test us, most especially if we want to build a lot of qualities for the future. And how can we be in a position whereby we don't use that as an excuse to give ourselves questions that will hurt us the more? It comes back to us. It comes back to us to give ourselves the right questions so that we can be able to use these things that are coming along the way as a source for us to actually do a lot of things that can actually help us to become more stronger innerly, internally, for us to be stronger enough. And as you said, it usually takes time. Some people, because we are all different, we all have different body, we all have different personality. Some could take 6 months, some could take years. But with time, we are building something whereby no matter how things could hit us, we can actually be strong enough to actually be patient enough to deal with it more wisely. And for us to have such type of inner strength, we have to be very patient enough and ask ourselves the right questions every time situations comes in. I would like to also drive to the point of mindset. The mindset is powerful. What we have in our thoughts really matters in everything we are doing on earth. So, what do you think is the role, or what do you think, or what role do you think mindset play in turning deeper pain into a source of strength? And how do you think people can try their best to train their minds to see possibility in difficulty, Mrs. Teresa?
Okay, I can answer this way. Mindset is practically everything. Your mindset and the way that you've been trained can either lead to success or failure. And it is hard to break that kind of training, but you can do it. Mindset has everything to do with it. If you slide into the why me mode, that's going to be hard to get out of. You can do it. It is just basically one step at a time. You can't take on you can't eat the whole hamburger all at once. You have to take one bite at a time. And I've noticed in my own life that mindset, when I changed my mindset from a negative mindset to a positive one, and that took a while to do. Changing your mindset is going to be one of the biggest things that can help you build resilience. Also, gratitude for every little thing that you've got. That also helps to build your internal resources. Just being thankful for seeing the sunrise. We take so much for granted. But mindset does have a lot to do with everything.
Thank you so much for the beautiful insight. Sometimes in life, the most little things we don't appreciate it. And that is why sometimes the biggest thing we achieve, we don't see it as something. When we appreciate the little things, despite even we seeing a flower and saying, see how beautiful this flower is. I can thank the goodness for this beautiful nature He has brought on earth. Those things are a source of strength. When we appreciate the little things we have, most especially, we are also proud of the little we have, we will always be happy and also be in the position to embrace and feel a whole when we actually achieve greater things. I think one of the things that always make us to feel more weaker and be in a position whereby we have so much struggles that we are unable to actually handle at times is because we take a lot of expectation, things we project a lot of things that are more even larger than us. And if we are in such positions, it's always tough. Let us try our best to work on our inner self. Let us try our best to make our body to give us the answer. And also when our body is also comfortable enough to actually build situation and also make us to be in a position to feel more happy and whole. Because the more stronger we are, the more we are going to be able to handle certain type of situation more wisely and more tangible as well. I would just like to dive to people who really, really, really are struggling with self-doubt. Now, some are in a position whereby they are now learning. I think I need to work on myself. But for those who have actually really, really failed along the way, they've actually tried to build this thing, but they failed along the way. So, for those struggling with self doubt after that failure when they've tried their best, what do you think are also the steps that can help them rebuild that confidence and trust in their own path, Mrs. Teresa?
Okay, one of the things to build confidence is okay, if you fail at something, understand that fail does not mean fail. It means first attempt in learning. You have to do things that scare you in order to build your self-confidence. You got to understand and accept that okay, you're gonna step to the side, you're gonna step to the side, you're gonna make mistakes. If at first you don't succeed, get up and try again. And that can be hard. That can be hard. Do one thing at a time. Don't try to read the whole book in one day. Just take one baby step at a time. Do things that you're afraid of doing because a lot of times the fear of doing something really messes with our self-confidence anyway. Just take baby steps. Okay, so like say I'm afraid I'm not a good photographer. Take a photograph anyway. Just keep learning, keep practicing, because that's where you're going to build your self-confidence is, every baby step, and celebrate your wins. Like if you do something excellent, reward yourself. And we do forget to do that at times. Until I learned this 2 years ago, I wasn't doing it either. But the more you reward yourself and acknowledge that, hey, I did this. And okay, so I didn't do it perfectly. Next time I'll do better. That is one of the ways to build self confidence, and not be afraid of failing or falling, because it's not permanent. It's not permanent. Just one step at a time.
The way the body is at times, it is just the way it is, and that is how it has been programmed. Sometimes we have fear when we want to move forward or when we want to take some certain decisions. Fear comes in, and those kind of things shouldn't be a sense of obstacle. We should be able to come over our fear and actually face situation with more wisdom and strength. Whether it goes well, fine. If it does not, we learn. We learn along the way. Life is very short. We are in a position whereby we have to just cross some lines at times. We have to do something that we feel uncomfortable with so that we can be in the position whereby we feel a whole and we embrace life more largely. If we can do that, then we start to rebuild those confidence and strength along the way, which really help us to actually deal with situations and also deal with situations with more patience and more wisdom as well. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, Mrs. Teresa, I want to thank you because you faced a lot of things when it comes to these situations. And for you to be in the position to actually bring out this insight for others to understand better that despite the ups and downs, it always comes from the heart. And the inner strength is one of the biggest area we can actually work on. When we work on that, we can be strong enough to deal with a lot of situations that comes along our way. I sincerely appreciate that. And also, Mrs. Teresa, there is a question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mrs. Teresa, what do you think that thing will be, Mrs. Teresa?
There was a lot more. There were times of war, but there were also times of peace. There was more community than there is today, with all the divisiveness in the world. Patience, trust in oneself, trust in others. Those are some of the qualities that I would want to bring back, regardless of whose ancestors, because our our lineage, regardless of where it goes, they have wisdoms and strengths that we may not. They lived in different times than what we do, and things were a lot different, but some of their qualities could still be brought forward, like such as being a warrior. I know I have at least one warrior aspect in my family line. And there are times when you do have to be a warrior, but you can be a peaceful warrior. Be peaceful, but stand up for yourself, stand up for what you believe in. Because war isn't the answer to everything. It's not the answer, period, to be completely honest. It's just not. And those type of qualities, if we could bring them back into the future, bring it into present time, I think things would be a lot different, because the way our ancestors lived is a lot different from the way we live today. So bringing the positive qualities of our ancestors back would probably ground us a lot more. And they have wisdom that we've lost for years or for generations. There's always wisdom in the ancestral line.
Yes, yes. We embrace the world in a very, very usual way, but as we as humans also, we also try our best to embrace nature in a positive way. Technology is great, but it has removed one thing. You said something very beautiful, patience. The world we are living in now, it looks as if everything just run very fast. It looks as if everything is positive.
Mm-hmm.
It looks as if everything is going great. And that is not the case. Despite the greatness, there is always tough and very, very hard decisions and very great obstacles that goes along with it. And that is what we have to try our best to build upon in our inner self. The answer is always in us. And after how we have actually become our own, we can actually build a sense of coming together, speaking to one another physically in great, great time. It really helps us. It even helps our emotions as well. We can use this as a channel, but we can also use that as a source for us to actually have the sense of emotional status, for us to come together to talk, to speak, which we've really, really lost in our time today, to be honest with you. It is not easy in our time. We have a lot of people who are really lonely. Even I myself currently, you can see it currently. So it's really, really tough in our time. But we do hope that with time, things are going to get better because we do not want our kids who are coming to actually face all this ups and down, and we do not know how the future will hold as well regarding this perspective. And also, Mrs. Teresa, I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the time, the opportunity you've given to me to have this profound and insightful discussion today. Thank you so much, Mrs. Teresa.
You're very welcome, Timothy.
All right, Mrs. Teresa. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Teresa. Bye bye.
Bye bye.